Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things could get totally radical. Now today, I am just so excited for today's guest because I've been wanting this lady on for a long time and I finally got in touch with her. I am going to be interviewing Dina Platias. You all know her as Miss Lippy in the 1995 Adam Sandler cult classic Billy Madison, the movie that set the stage for future Sandler movies to come. And I can thank Jane Morris for all of this. She set up the interview, and I'm so glad to have Dina on today to talk about that, talk about her roles in Cradle Will Rock, Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, another Sandler produced movie with Rob Schneider, and talk about her theater background and stuff like that. And it's going to be super awesome. So yeah, here is my interview with Dina Platias.
Hello.
Hey Dina, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. I'm good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. The weather is overcast today, but aside from that, it's good.
We have overcast, but we have super humid for LA, which is not usually the case, and high, really high all week. Horribly high all week.
Yeah.
Like 107, like that. I mean, maybe for you, does it get really hot up there?
Oh, yeah. Out over here in Redding, it gets super hot. It gets to 110, which it was this weekend.
Okay, so it's much hotter there than here. Okay, so I'm an amateur in heat. Okay, you're pro.
Yeah, I even lived in Arizona for a brief time. It's really hot over there.
Oof. Yeah.
But this is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, my God, my pleasure.
Yes. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting early on in your childhood?
Yeah, I would say that I'm the youngest in the family. We have, I have a brother and sister who are much older than me, and so I think, generally speaking, I don't know, we're all third children or last children, or what is it called? Last children? What's it called? Anyway,
Youngest?
I think that it's the youngest. That's what it is. Youngest child. I think the youngest child tends to be like, okay, whatever, and they just tend to go with the flow and be thrown into a lot of things. And I don't know. That's just kind of how it was with my experience. So when I was younger, I grew up in a Greek American community, and I did a lot of things that were Greek, like Greek festivals and going to Greek camp and all of these things. And we didn't speak Greek; it was just Greek Americans. And there was a Greek festival where every year, when I was little, probably like from 5 till about 9 or something, I would go on stage with this guy, and he would put me on a table, and then he would pick up the table with his teeth, and then he would make circles around with me sitting on the table while he was lifting it with his teeth. So that was kind of my intro into, performance, even though I didn't do a thing. I just sat there. It was just, I got, all the applause, and the crowd was going crazy, even though, I wasn't lifting the table.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of where I think I was slow. I think I just kind of gravitated towards that kind of thing because I maybe in one more way, my family, there were a lot of stories that were told, and I had a very outgoing, eccentric grandmother who, she was like the type of person that would wear like a muumuu, like a leopard muumuu and a turban and play the organ, and she would just tell all these stories, and then everyone at the dinner table would tell stories. And I think with that kind of upbringing, seemed natural to just to be thrown into some kind of like, you tell a story, okay, It seems like that was my experience. But I like to say that as a kid, I think I was pretty introverted, and I didn't really know it because I was raised as an extrovert. So I think I realized that later in life, is that like my natural comfort zone is to be home alone and quiet and not really spend that much time out in the world. I'm super comfortable doing that, but yet I was raised with going out every night, performing, everything like that. So I guess it's kind of a nice education to balance myself out from being too withdrawn,
Yeah. Did you do a lot of school plays and community theater?
Yeah, I did. My first community theater play was in Oakland. That's where I grew up, in an amphitheater, and it was a musical, Gypsy, that musical,
Yep.
and it was starring Yvonne DiCarlo. Do you remember her?
Yeah, from the Munsters.
She was Mrs. Munster. So I was like 10 years old, and I was very starstruck, and I was so, oh my God, I couldn't believe that Mrs. Munster and I were in a play together. So, so we did that, and then I continued to do plays at that amphitheater, a lot of musicals, and then in high school I did, I did musicals and plays, and in college I did same thing, musicals and plays. Yeah, so very, very much that was pretty much my whole life, from grammar school, till probably till the movies,
Yeah. I'm born and raised in San Mateo, and when I was growing up, Oakland was the place to stay away from.
Totally. People always used to say, "You're from Oakland? When we drive on the freeway, we lock our car doors." Yeah, like someone's going to jump in when you're on the freeway. But yeah, people were always very freaked out by Oakland. But I loved it. I loved it. It was so exciting and diverse, and there's just, it was right by UC Berkeley too. So then there was this whole, when I was growing up, there was this whole, it was, after like summer of '69, but still like in the '70s, Berkeley and Telegraph were outrageous. Like people would be just high. I mean, it's pretty much like now. Everyone's high, but it was, people were walking down the street in all these like crazy clothes, and my best friend and I, her mom, who used to take us to Berkeley as kind of an outing, like instead of going to the zoo, we went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
And we would dress up to go to Berkeley. Like, this is what I really thought Berkeley was. I thought it was a city that you go to where you have to dress up to go. And so we would wear like, overalls with rolled up. One side rolled up, the other side rolled down, and then striped socks, and then crazy hats and gloves. Like we would do all of these things, and we would rock around and be very, like, we would totally fit in because we looked so crazy. And I mean, it was not until I got older, like in high school, that I realized, oh, that's not a dress-up city. That's just who people are. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Oh boy. So after high school, where did you attend college and study acting?
I went to UCLA, and I did, basically I studied acting at UCLA, and I didn't really, okay, I'll say this. I studied acting at UCLA. That was my major, theater, film, and television. There I did plays and musicals, and I even did short films, and had a TV show. We had a sitcom. The college had a soap opera and a sitcom, and I was on the sitcom. It was called Good News, Bad News, and it was written by, and I always thought this was so cool at that time. Nowadays it doesn't seem that impressive, but to me at the time, the people that were writing for our show, the sitcom, in a college sitcom, were two of the executive producer writers for Cheers. So Cheers was like a huge hit at the time, and then these people were grad students who were writing for our show, and then they would go to work that night on the Cheers set. And so that was, I felt like I had entered like this whole professional realm. Like the way they did the sitcom was how they did sitcoms for real. Like they had a booth and they had a 3-camera thing and they had an audience, and it was exactly what sitcoms were like. So it was the best education for television. You know, like it couldn't have been, you couldn't have asked for more. It was so exactly everything you needed to know, and then you would learn. Like each episode you'd see, you'd go, oh, okay, I need to maybe face more towards the camera or whatever. Like you could really learn from it, and it was great. It was really, really great.
Nice, nice. Did you have any students in your class that went on to become successful in acting?
Yeah, Jack Black, and I mean he's like the super famous one. You know, there are a couple of other people, but I don't know. They're not like as famous as Jack, but like Maren Dungy's a woman who been on a lot of shows, and Kevin Weissman has been on shows, and this guy Maury Sterling is on Homeland, but they're not as famous as Jack. So I would just say my answer to your question is Jack Black.
Okay.
That's just good. That covers all that. That he probably equals 5 famous people.
Did you know then that he was going to be successful?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone did. He was so, we went to college together, but then we were also in a theater company together at the Actors Gang. And the Actors Gang was, Tim Robbins went to UCLA, and he started the Actors Gang there like 10 years before I went there. Or something like that, 8 or 10 years before. And then he had this whole crew that did plays with him, and then they kind of took time off. And then they started to do them again in the 90s. They did a little spattering like in the 80s, and then they went back to let's get the company together. So then I joined the company in the 90s, like 1990, and then I was in it till about 2003, so over a decade, and Jack was in that company, and he and his partner, comedian partner Kyle, they did Tenacious D. They started Tenacious D kind of at the Actors Gang, and then so when we would, we would create original plays, and we'd also do what are they called? Legitimate plays, I guess. And so we do like Moliere, and we do like Orestes, and we do all these classic plays. But then we'd also do these original plays that were kind of like what the director would say, like, I want to do a play about drugs, and then we would all workshop the concept, so that the person says, like, I really want to explore, whatever. Let's start with like the idea of Alice in Wonderland and hallucinogenics and mushrooms and things like that, and then from there it just kind of expanded, and then the play that we created became a play called Euphoria, and it was that experience, the Actors Gang experience, was incredible. And so I guess going back to, did I study acting? Where did I study acting? I studied acting at UCLA, but I also, like in classic voice and acting classes, but in the Actors Gang, we did stage plays, and some of them were musicals as well. And we, and by creating these characters, we were kind of part of the whole process of like from the seed to the birth and death of the show, and the death would be just the closing of the show, not anything else.
Yeah.
And it was, I feel like that was some of the best, so let me just articulate for a second. By doing that kind of work, we did a style called Commedia dell'arte, which is like an Italian style. And by doing that style, you had to have a technique, which was like basically coming on stage and looking at the audience and looking at the person that you're talking to and then looking back at the audience, and there's all this technical stuff. But then you also had to emote. You had to be the happiest you've ever been, the saddest you've ever been, the angriest you've ever been, happy, sad, anger, and fear, and the most scared you've ever been. So if you, like Tim would direct the big rehearsals, and we would come out, he'd go, no, you're not scared enough. So then you have to come out again. You go, no, I'm not scared enough. You come out again, you'd be like, ah! You'd be like a crazy person. And then you'd be like, good, okay. Come on down.
It's hilarious. Did you know Cameron Dye?
Oh, no, I don't know him, but I know a lot of people that did know him. And I know people that he was an acting teacher, right?
Well, yeah, I mean...
he was an actor, but wasn't he also... I know people... I think I know two people that were in his... Did he have a company, or was he just... He was an acting teacher, I think.
Well, him and Tim started the Actors Gang together, and then Tim decided...
I didn't know. He didn't... Yeah, go on, sorry.
I was going to say, Tim decided to stay with it, and Cameron, was just a busy working actor, and so he went off on his own. Mm-hmm. But I think he does teach a little.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I do know of him, and I know a lot of people that knew him because of that, I guess, because I didn't know that he started with Tim. I thought, yeah, that makes sense, though, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's been on here. Did you have any improv comedy background?
Yeah. At UCLA, I was in a improv group called Spontaneous Combustion, and we did shows. We did shows in different places, but the main place that we used to always perform was on. This venue has been a lot of different things by now, but it used to be this place on Robertson. I don't know if you're familiar, but like kind of in Boys Town, and there's like the Abbey, and across the street there was this big kind of club on the bottom where there were a lot of drag shows, and then a club on the top where there were like improv shows, and there was also a dance club, and on different nights it was this, and on different nights it was that. So we would perform there, and that also was pretty incredible to, I mean, it's so weird when people just yell out something, and some days you're just right on top of your game. Like, always like you ate your protein and drank your water, and you felt strong, you had your greens, and then other days you just feel like, oh, I'm so tired and run down, and you're not as sharp. And it really, you can really feel the difference on different nights of those improv shows when you feel super alive and bright, and other times when you're like, oh God, this is so difficult.
Yeah.
It's such a great learning experience.
Oh yeah, I mean, we used to play improv games in my high school drama classes, and I'm like, this is so hard.
But super fun. Like when you do a really good whatever it is, like someone yells something out, you do something, and everybody loves it and they laugh. It's like that could keep you going for like a month. Just that feedback can keep you in the game, and then, but it is really hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be exhilarating too, as well. So,
yeah.
So how does Billy Madison come into your life?
Well, I was in a play at the Actors Gang, and it was a Greek play where I played Helen of Troy, and the play happened, we did the play on stage, and then within the play there was a screen, like a movie screen that came down, and Tim Robbins came on the screen as the god, like Apollo, and what do you Zeus? I think he was Apollo. But anyway, he came down and he was telling all the people on the stage, the live people, to like, this is my advice to you. And and during that time, Helen of Troy, my character, was hot curling his hair. Like I had a curling iron and I was curling his hair,
Yeah.
and while he was talking, like I was prepping him for something. So it was obviously a Greek play, but the take on the Greek play was it was a comedy. And so, in my opinion, I think because I was on screen in that play, because I'd done tons of plays, and you know, it's interesting when you do a play, people see you and they're like, oh wow, but you know, they don't know how you screen test, they don't know what you look like on film. But because I had the opportunity to be on that screen during the play, and people could see me on the screen, this woman from Universal Studios, she called me after the play and said, hey, do you want to come in? I'd love to meet you. So I went to her office, and I met her, and we talked, and she was fantastic. I mean, she was like someone I'd be friends with. You know, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know why she wanted to see me. I didn't really know anything. So I just showed up, and she just talked to me about whatever, you know, like, hey, I hear you do yoga. Yeah. We would talk about that. We talked about a lot of different things. And then at the end of the interview, or whatever it was, the meet and greet or whatever you want to call it, said, hey, you know, it's so weird. I just thought of this thing. Do you mind reading something for me? And I said, sure. And so I went into this room, and she gave me the slides, and said Miss Lippy, and it said that she was described as a tall woman with blonde curly hair, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like 100% the opposite. And so I said to her, and this woman's described as something totally what I'm not. She goes, oh, no, don't worry about that. Just do it like you. And I go, oh, okay. So the character is, as you know, a first grade teacher, and my sister's a sixth grade teacher, and throughout the years, I've always, like, you know, been on field trips with my sister's kids, and I've gone, you know, my sister will tell me stories about her kids, and these fake, you know, I'm sick, you know, I'm like, I can't make it to, sorry I wasn't at school yesterday, love, mother. You know, like, they truly would write these hilarious things. They would, like this little girl plagiarized this book, and the book, I mean, the assignment was supposed to be an autobiography of each child, and so each kid would turn in their autobiography, and the girl started her autobiography with, when I was a small Indian boy. So my sister and I would, like, laugh about her kids, and so I remember, and my sister's so sweet, and she's really soft-spoken, and they really listen to her because she just has, like, fun jewelry. She has fun clothes. And I'm not saying that they only listen to her because she has fun jewelry and clothes. She's great. She's a very kind person, too. But I just was always, I loved the way that her kids loved her, respected her. These kids would come years later, like 10 years later, and bring her a rose on the end. Like, they would graduate from high school, and then they would come into her sixth grade class at the end of the year and say, thank you so much. I really appreciate what you did for me. I mean, it's amazing. Like, it always made me cry. So I thought, if I was a first grade teacher, how would I be a first grade teacher? And I thought that, you know, I had a really great kindergarten teacher, and I had a really great second grade teacher, just really loving, open, creative, playful. And so I was like, I'm just doing it like them. I'm doing it like how I would want to be taught as a first grader. So then I read this thing, kind of how I saw myself being a first grade teacher, and that was it. And so then you know, she was like, thank you, and she put this, you know, the tape, or however you record at that time, I think it was a tape or something, she put it in a file, and I was like, okay. So what I thought was that she taped me so that in case she thought of me for a project, she could show the person, hey, this is what she looks like on camera. This is truly what I just thought that's how it works. You just have it on tape, show the people, and you go, this is what she looks like, okay, bring her in or not. So then a week later, I get a call and said, Adam Sandler saw your tape, he loves you, and he wants you to do this movie. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was real. first of all, I had no idea it was an Adam Sandler movie, and also I had no idea that it was a real movie. I just thought it was like size for just some TV show that, like a pilot that hadn't gone yet. Yeah. So anyway, I a week later, I was flown to Canada, and I stayed in Canada for 3 months doing the movie. And it was so weird too, because just like this business is so weird. It's like you're completely one thing one day, and the next thing you're like on a flight and in a nice hotel waiting for your the 5 a.m. call to be dressed. It's weird. It's really weird. So I'm sorry, I forgot what you asked because I was talking too much. But
no, it's okay.
I'll stop right there. You can ask or whatever.
That's okay. They want to hear you, not me. But yeah, my dad took me to see this movie when I was only like 11 and a half, and we just laughed hysterically. It was just the funniest thing ever. My dad was hoping though that not every movie Adam Sandler made was going to be him, play this weirdo man-child, because he had already had his fill with Pauly Shore, but he proved himself in subsequent movies, But this was his first huge solo movie. Had you seen him on Saturday Night Live?
This is so weird, but I really love comedy, and I would go through phases of watching Saturday Night Live because of what is it called? Availability, in a sense. Like when I did plays at night at the Actors Game, we go out after. For 10 years, I didn't watch Saturday Night Live because I was never around, and it wasn't on the internet, to show, there were no reruns really of it at that time. Yeah. So let me just turn off my radio for a second.
Okay.
Okay. So I never really saw him on the show, and so I was working at a theater. It was my day job, and I was working at a theater in the box office. And it was like the box office had we were all the same age. We were all young and acting, and we were just it was the most fun day job place because everyone was friends. So when I got this movie, they gave me this gift, and I opened up the box, and it was this little red hooded sweatshirt. And I said, thank you. And I didn't really understand it. Now, I love sweats. I love the sweatshirt, sweat jacket with the zipper. I love the color red. I didn't really understand it. And then one of the guys said, because of Adam Sandler's Little Red Sweatshirt song. And I went, oh. And I had never seen it. So I think by that time, I can't remember. The internet's so weird because I can't remember how I found out. Maybe I watched Saturday Night Live that next week and I saw it. I do remember seeing it before I left for the movie, so that I was like, oh, okay. So, so I didn't really see him. I didn't really know him. And I think that actually helped me because, like I was saying about Yvonne DiCarlo, Miss Munster, I was so starstruck by her that I kind of couldn't speak. I was just like, oh my God, this woman, I've watched her on TV. I love her. But with Adam, I felt like he was a peer. I felt very comfortable with him because I hadn't really watched the show. I mean, I knew of him. I knew he was super famous, but I just hadn't seen that much of his work. So when I went in for the callback audition, I did it with him and the director, and I felt super comfortable. Like I just felt like I could just. But I think that it's like that. I'm like that with. If I don't know if someone's famous, I am so relaxed. Of course, everybody is. Yeah. And then if someone's famous, it's just like, oh God, I hate myself. I just can't stand the way that I get all nervous. And even though I know better, like, why am I nervous about this? It just, it changes. Like, I went to a dog park once, and my dog was playing with this other dog, and this woman said something to me about our dogs playing together. And I said, oh, my God, they're so great. And I was so comfortable, and I was so, and we were talking about this and that. We talked for a while, and she was really pretty, and, you know, I didn't think anything of it. And then at one point she was petting my dog's ear, and she said, he has ears like Barney's. And I said, the purple dinosaur? And she goes, no, like Barney's the department store, like cashmere. And I go, oh. And then I looked at her, and I was like, oh, my God, this is Brooke Shields. And then all of a sudden, I became some weird person who was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And then I got all nervous. It haunts me to this day, you know, like,
yeah,
until that moment. And then I was like, oh. So anyway, so that's why I say it was probably good that I didn't know his work, because I was very relaxed.
Yeah. What was it about Miss Lippy that attracted you to her?
I think that, you know, I'm not sure how to frame this, because I want to frame it in a certain way, but I'm not super political or, you know, an advocate. Like, number one, that's who I am. I care about things, and I advocate for things, and I have viewpoints on politics. But what I liked about her was that I thought that, and at the time I was taking tons of yoga before that, so I had this whole experience of going to yoga. I took 5 days a week, sometimes on weekends, but definitely 5 times a week, sometimes 7. And I would, it depended on the teacher, but some days we would like lie on our back, and they would do a visual journey of like going places and stuff, and it was like a visual journey, and super cool. And other times it was totally athletic and sweaty and strength-based, and other times it was super flexible and all of that. And so the main thing that I thought was interesting about the whole yoga thing was about relaxation, acceptance, and just love, like self-love. Just like, don't be mad at yourself for not being able to, just acceptance and love. And so I thought this teacher could be an example for what I think teachers should be. They should be there for each child, and basically teaching each child in the way that child learns. You know, like some children learn by visual, and then some learn by hearing things, some learn by touching things, and some learn by movement, dance, and all of that. So I thought this is a great way to give my point of view about what I believe that grammar school teaching could be. You know, how, like, I told the costume people in Canada, I want my costumes to be brightly colored.
Yeah.
It's possible, perhaps the alphabet on them, perhaps numbers, maybe animals. I want my earrings to be like fruits and vegetables. I want my hair clips to be, you know, I want it to all be stimulating but not distracting, not overstimulating that you get hyper kids, but like stimulating where it's fun and playful, joy of learning, and whatever the child does is good, because they produce that, and what they produced is from them, and that's good enough. Like, it's enough. So it's just the whole self-esteem, you are enough, all of that stuff. I really, because that kind of went with the whole yoga thing, I just wanted to portray a teacher who was not a bitch, not sarcastic, not rude, not, you know, intimidating. I wanted her to be kind of just loving and accepting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she's a total free-spirited hippie chick, and she's all about kindness and empathy, and would be there for anybody like a true friend.
Yeah, and, you know, there was this one scene that we did shoot that didn't get in the movie, and I'm kind of glad it didn't get in the movie because, well, it was with Norm Macdonald, and he and I were, it was at one of, in the movie, Adam Sandler graduates each grade, and there's always a party, right? There's always, like, you know, extreme party things, like, jet skis on the fountain pond, and just like ridiculous, jugglers and circus animals and, all of this stuff. And so when one of those parties was happening, Norm Macdonald's character and I were sitting on a blanket, and we were talking about something, and they said, you're totally high, just be totally high. And I go, okay. And then Norm asked me something, and I answered, and I guess we were both kind of high or something, but we didn't like smoke a joint or anything on the screen, but we just were high acting, if you will.
Yeah.
And then it didn't get in the movie. But I was kind of glad, because then it kind of makes it that you can believe whatever you want about what she does outside of the classroom, but there's no real proof. So I like that she could be a total natural high on life type.
Yeah.
She could be a little mentally ill. She could be, drunk and high. She could be whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as she is, as long as she's kind and the kids, respond to her in a positive way.
Yes, you do a really great job. You sell her with that infectious smile that you have, and you're so animated, the way you move and everything.
Yeah, that scene, that dance thing. When we were at that, we did a rehearsal before the shooting that, and we did a rehearsal like way before, like a month before. I mean, we did the rehearsal before we started shooting the movie, before we went to Canada. So we were in this thing, and the guy said, so when you are doing this dance, and I go, okay, do you want it to be like a ballet dance? What kind of dance are you thinking? Like a disco dance? What? And he said, no, just like, I don't know, whatever you want. And I go, could it be like an interpretive dance? Like, where, like, let's say the Jim Croce song, if I had a box full of wishes and dreams that would never come true. I was doing like a fake box that opened with the dreams that floated out, and that's kind of where that dance came from. That music was not in it. I wasn't singing those words or anything like that, but the inspiration for that dance came from like it's like an interpretive dance of, whatever she wants. Like I like to think of her being in a rainstorm, and the rain is pushing her, and she's trying to walk forward. But it could be whatever anyone wants.
Yeah, I talked to the other friend of Norm Macdonald's in the movie, Mark Beltzman. I talked to him a month ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice guy.
He's great. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen each other in like 30 years or whatever, but yeah, he's a really nice guy. There were really fun people in that movie. I mean, just, I want to call him Hankman. Larry Hankman? Wait, what's the name?
Larry Hankin.
Larry Hankin.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was, I see him in so many movies. Like now that we're home during this quarantine time, we watch so many random movies. So many. Like every night we watch a new movie. And I see Larry Hankin in a lot of things. So funny.
Yeah, he's in everything, that guy. And I've been trying to get him on here for a long time, but a colleague of mine just got him on her podcast. So you never know.
Yeah, he's great. He's a really, really nice guy. Really soft-spoken, really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many talented people in this movie. Bradley Whitford, Josh Mostel, Darren McGavin. Totally. I mean, it's amazing. Bridget Wilson was just a delight. She was so sweet. And, oh my God, listen to this. Mm-hmm. The woman that played, she has since passed away, but the woman that played the maid, Teresa Merritt. Yeah.
Remember her?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was in Oakland, in grammar school, we had a guest speaker. And at the time on TV, there was this show called That's My Mama. And she was Mama on the show. And I was obsessed with that show. I mean, like, I loved television when I was younger, so I watched as much as I could, and I just loved, like, the people that were the stars of the show. I just, like, I love them. And Teresa Merritt, I thought she was the greatest. And she came to our school, and she got on the little grammar school stage in the auditorium, and she spoke to the school. And then she gave out, like, she gave out a Xerox piece of paper that says something like, in order to be successful, you need tenacity. And she said, and that is like stick-to-itiveness or whatever like that. And then she wrote Teresa Merritt. Now, it's not verbatim. It's not obviously, don't quote me on that. But what's weird to me is that, this is crazy to me, but my parents' house burned down in the Oakland fire. So I lost all of my childhood stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I had a couple things, from that I would carry around with me from place to place. So I still have a few things from childhood that I have just taken to college with me or whatever. But a lot of stuff I didn't need to take to college with me. But what was weird is that I went through my files, and I have this one file called, is it this one? There's one that's called MISC. There's one that's called Random, and there's one that's called Cards and Letters. I think it's under MISC. And under the miscellaneous file, I opened it, and there is the Xerox from Teresa Merritt from grammar school that I kept, that survived. Like, it went with me. Like, it went to college with me. I didn't even know it was at college with me. Like, it went with me in some special little file. And then years later, I met Teresa Merritt, and we hung out, and I told her about it. She was like, that's so weird. She goes, I remember going to Ucla. I remember going to that school for that speaking engagement. Oh, it's so weird. Maybe it's not that weird, but to me it was crazy that I still have that sheet of paper to this day.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. You better frame that.
Yeah, I know. It's true. That's true.
Yeah. Now, I've listened to the DVD commentary track, and Tamara Davis said that she was a replacement for another director. Did you get to meet and work with that director first?
Yeah. He's great. He was there he actually is the one that cast me. He and Adam and the producer, Bob Simons, they were all there deciding, on the casting. So he was the one I did that box full of wishes thing with. And then when he was starting, my scenes hadn't come up yet. And maybe the high scene, I think maybe the one where Norm and I were on the blanket, I think he directed that one. I'm not positive, but I think so. And anyway, he was great. But I think that, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I think that there was a different vision. I think that his style might have been a different style than what, I think some people wanted it. I'm not sure, but there must have been some kind of mix-up about the look. You know how, like, there are certain movies, like, this look has more of, like, a vintage look, and this one has a bright, popping look. And I think he was more of the vintage look, and I think they wanted to be more brain-popping. So what he said to me before the movie started was, I'm going to put you in, like, a burlap or, like, a beige dress, right? And you're just going to be kind of like in a beige dress. And I said, oh, okay, wow, okay. And in my head, I was thinking, oh, no, beige doesn't look good on me, vanity. And I just thought, oh, my God, that's so not how I see her. Oh, my God, what am I going to do? And then when Tamara came on, she said, hey, and we had like a little cocktail party thing to meet the new director, and she sat down. She was lovely, and she was really cute, funky, and fun. And she said, so what are you thinking for this character? And I said, I really want her to be colorful, and I told her the same thing that I told the costume people. I really want it to be like bright, colorful, popping animals, vegetables, minerals. Basically just anything. Put the periodic table on my skirt. I don't care. I want something fun. And she's like, great. And then it just kind of all fell into place. And but yet I still loved the old director. And I had seen him. He did a movie about Paul Williams. And I happened to, I went to it, and I saw him at the opening of that movie. And he's very sweet. I really liked him.
Nice. How was the producer, Bob Simons?
Oh, he was funny. It's funny. What I remember about him is I remember that he had done, I think, Problem Child, right?
Right.
And I never saw that movie, but Bob has such a youthful energy. Like, he is like, I'm trying to think of what it would be like. The only reason I say about this is, like, the kid on the cover of the Problem Child poster is upside down, right? I don't know. This is kind of what I remember. This is like my vision or visual of what I remember from Bob Simons. I remember hearing his name and then finding out that he, produced that movie, and I was like, okay. And then meeting him, and he was like this happy, he wasn't hyper at all. He just was excited. Like, he was like, yeah. And he was always busy, running around, doing all this stuff. He has a lot of energy. So I think he's just one of those people that has a very sharp mind, is very geniusy, and uses, instead of getting bogged down in his head, he puts it through his body, and he's a mover. He just is like, yes. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why he's done so well in his life, because he's just, he keeps on moving forward and forward and forward and forward and doing so many things. And, and I really liked him. I thought he was, really, really funny, nice, positive, encouraging, all of those things. So I liked him a lot. I didn't see him that much, but I did, I saw him enough, but I didn't see him all the time. And so my takeaway was that he was just a very excited, happy, hardworking, energized, real smart person.
Mm-hmm. There's so many great scenes in the movie, especially with Miss Lippy. The part where she cock blocks him while he's trying to talk to the mucus queen.
Totally. Oh my God, it's so sweet. Like, she has no idea, and I don't think that character is clueless. I just think that she's so concerned about Billy getting his project.
Yeah.
That she's like, wonderful. Billy's meeting a nice woman. Wonderful. I just think that she's just like, everything is great. Everything is okay. And let me just share this with you. Maybe you want to see what Billy made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your macaroni only.
Yeah. I'm sure you get asked this a lot. When I saw this, I was just like, what the fuck? When she's putting paste on her face?
Yeah. That was in the script. It said Miss Lippy puts paste on her face, and I would just say that the main thing I did was I just justified that I was just doing a little time out and doing a facial. That's it. That's exactly how I justified it. If it wasn't in the script, I don't know if I would have come up with it. Maybe, because it's a very improv thing. But my feeling is he's staying after school, with the erasers, or maybe just helping her clean erasers, and he's like doing something by the chalkboard, and she's rocking in the chair and putting on a mask, like a facial mask. And she may get a little bit confused in her, like everything is wonderful, and her makeshift kind of like, yeah, let's just do a mask out of paste, and let's just peel it off. I mean, great.
Yeah.
I could just see her being like very, very committed to like, this is good for you.
Yeah. I like how she shows up to every graduation party, too.
I know. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
I like that, too, because I got to work a day. I got to work each time she graduated. And I like that. I really like the what is it called, decathlon, where there's a whole audience. Well, I guess she would be there because she's part of the. Oh no, it was the high school decathlon where he was competing against Bradley Whitford's character, and they were doing the like the whatever it's called, the Jeopardy game, and I think it's funny that she's in that audience too. I like it because it's like really shows that she was supportive of him all through his his educational career.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, she ends up with the clown at the end.
Yeah, but they broke up soon after.
Yeah. Yeah, you must have got makeup all over your face.
I did. I totally got makeup on my face, and yeah, like black, white, red, everything. Yeah.
What's your favorite scene?
You know what's funny is I used to love. I used to think this one thing was really funny, and then I saw it in a DVD outtake reel, and then I was like, oh, that's not as funny as I remember. But it was this scene where, like, during her downtime at recess, she was doing her dance, but then they also did another downtime at recess where she was taking care of a baby doll with a stethoscope. And
oh, yeah.
I just thought the idea of her doing that was so funny. And so in my head, when we did it, it was funny to me. And then in my head, what it turned out to be like was funny to me. But then when I saw the actual camera angle of it, I mean, my whole point is not to say, oh, the camera angle was that. My whole point is to say that, oh, it just didn't come across as funny as I thought it was, which is like the idea of a first grade teacher, you know, she may be watering plants, but the fact that she's checking the heart of a plastic baby doll just to make sure that she's still breathing, it's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like something that I mourned when it wasn't in the movie, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, I see. It's just not that special. It's not. It doesn't read like that. It just kind of reads like I'm holding a baby.
Yeah.
But I think that my favorite scene would be I really loved the story time. I thought that, you know, when doing it, we had all the kids around, and they were adorable. And I mean, like, oh God, what a perfect age. That first grade age where they're too young to like talk back, and they're too old to like pee in their pants. You know, like they got it. They're so great. They're so pure. They'll say things that are like really honest. And like when the little girl goes up to Adam and says, "You have a misshapen face." That's like really what kids do. Like you have a and then the parent was always like, "Shh, don't say that."
Yeah.
So those kids were so really just outrageously adorable, and so when I was telling the story, they actually were listening. Like they were so sweet with their little faces. Like when the camera was showing their faces, they really were listening. It was so great. So I just loved that. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess I don't really perform for young children, and I don't really have access to young children, and I was always the youngest child, so I always had older people around. Yeah. To actually have kind of an experience with young children in a group, I was like, oh, you know, okay, that's sweet. That's really sweet. Yeah,
I love when Billy gets the Valentine from Principal Anderson.
Totally creepy.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Costello, I mean, his dad, I mean, just like what a legend. And Josh was really funny. He was great. Yeah, that was so cute. The way that he did the little smile, like, I think Billy looks at him and then he does the smile like, hi, like, yeah, that was funny. Oh, it was funny. Yeah, it's super funny.
It's great, yeah. Also, James Downey is hilarious.
Oh my God, I know. I thought that was really great that he did that movie.
His speech.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just, you know, was the head writer of Saturday Night Live, but I don't know if he was an actor as well. Maybe he was. Do you know if he was?
I think that he would just do, you know, small parts for Saturday Night Live, Friends and stuff, but that's about it.
You know, the guy who was the science teacher who does like the joke about the molecules or whatever.
Smigel, yeah.
The kids are like,
Robert Smigel.
Yeah. Oh my God, I loved him. Oh my God, he was so funny. He did the perfect imitation of a science teacher who like is kind of corny and really loves his own jokes and really thinks the kids love them too. It's just so sweet and funny, and he was great. Yeah, there were so many great little, like Steve Buscemi being the serial killer, Chris Farley being the bus driver. Like there were so many weird little moments, like just like they were just one-offs. You know, they were just like it was the greatest thing. I remember I went to a movie, you know, like in the 90s before Billy Madison came out. It was probably like, 6 months before or something.
Yeah.
And I was in the movie theater with my friend, and all of a sudden, it was weird because, when you hear your voice, you don't really know it's your voice. You know how people always say that, like you hear I'm sure, like when you first did the maybe not, I'm not sure, but
yeah.
I will ask you, when you first did the podcast and your voice came on, were you like, oh, wow, I don't feel like I sound like that. Did that happen to you, or is that just, have you been doing this for years that you already know what your voice sounds like?
Well, okay, so I was half on camera and half audio only of my podcast when I first started, right? And the sound was terrible, so it didn't really make any difference, though. But I've never liked the sound of my voice in general.
So when you first heard it, like I remember as a kid doing tape recordings, like we would cassette tapes and we would, do fake interviews and fake commercials, like, oh, I like regular life hairstyle, and then we would do different voices and disguise our voices and then make them high and low and then regular. And we always thought it was so funny when our regular voice was on. We'd be like, is that me? Like, it was so weird. It always sounded so not, you hear your voice in your head from your ears. And then when you hear it coming back at you, it's a different thing because there's no vibration in your head. So it's such a weird, that happened to me in high school once when I was in a class, and the teacher, I raised my hand, and he said, Dina, and I said, I feel like and then I stopped, and he goes, yeah, and I said, oh my God, I haven't spoken in this class for quite a while, and I just think it's so weird. What it sounds like. And I'm sure he thought I was high, but I really was not, and I couldn't believe that. Just, it was so strange to me that, I don't know, it was so weird. So anyway, we were talking about something about the boy. What was it about? The Steve Buscemi and then the Chris Farley and the bus driver, and then, Downey Jr., not Robert Downey Jr.
James Downey.
James Downey, and then Michael. What was the thing about, I was talking about the voice for it? I don't remember. There's something about,
about hearing,
maybe it'll come back, maybe not.
Hearing your voice for the first
time on that one.
Hearing your voice for the first time on recording.
Oh, I know what it was. Thank you. It was when I was in the movie theater with my friend, and I think I looked down to open my purse or something. I don't know. It was during the previews, and I heard, I'd like you all to meet our friend Billy. And I was like, oh my God. I just remember hearing the voice, not really knowing it was my voice, but then when it was the line that I said, and I was familiar with the line I said, and then the name Billy, I looked up, and I was on screen, and it was a preview for that movie, and my friend was like, oh my God. And I go, I know. I can't even believe that. It was so cool. There was also this billboard on Sunset. It was a Prime billboard. Now Sunset has billboards everywhere, but there was a Prime billboard on La Cienega and Sunset Boulevard, and it was right on top of the Pink Dot convenience store, which was pretty popular.
Yeah.
And I always would drive by and be like, oh, that's a big movie. Whatever was up on that board always seemed like it was super important because it was a prime spot on Sunset Boulevard. And Billy Madison, that was on there, and I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, I'm sure it would have been different if my face was on it. I'd be like, and I'd have a heart attack. But as far as that movie being on that billboard, to me, that was really I don't know, it just kind of felt like all the pieces were falling into place, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, synergy, as they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple of years after Billy Madison, Tim Robbins gave you a part in Cradle Will Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's Tim like as a director?
He's great. I mean, like I said, he, as a theater director, is very similar to a film director. So he's, because he comes from theater, he has a kind of he really works well with actors. And he also has kind of a open, you know, like he's not like, nope, we're doing it this way. He's not like, what is that called? I can't think of the word. It's something very basic, like strict. But anyway, stained or true, or like try to, whatever. Okay, so he was very, he's great. He's open, but he also wants quality. So, like, he's not just like, oh, everyone, I want you to like me. No. He really expects great work. He expects people to rise above and just go beyond and come up with greater, bigger, grander types of ideas and then go deeper within themselves. So he's like very, he knows how to direct actors because he's been an actor. I love directors that either act or who love working with actors. It really makes a difference because then the actor can say like, what are you thinking? Or what is it that you're looking for in the scene? Is there anything emotionally that you want? Is there anything this? And then the director who loves actors would say like, bring out your, they might talk in imagery or they might speak in a way that is, just personal or empathetic or sympathetic or just something where you feel safe. That's what it is. Safe. You
Right.
just feel like whatever I choose, even if it's wrong for this scene, we could do it again and it'll be okay. I'm not going to get in trouble, that kind of thing.
Right. And then you did Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo.
Did you see that?
I love it, yeah.
It made me laugh. You know what made me laugh in that movie? And it's so silly, and I'm sure, like, most people don't even remember it, but God, for some reason, when I first saw it, that scene, Rob Schneider and Eddie, what's Eddie's last name? Eddie Griffin. They were in the hot tub together. So it was like the man whore and the pimp, right? And they're sitting in the hot tub, and I guess the ocean's behind them, and the hot tub's stirring around. And Eddie Griffin's character he always is eating something in the hot tub, which for some reason makes me laugh really hard. Mm-hmm. He's eating like a sandwich, and the tomato falls out, and the tomato circles around in the hot tub. Mm. I can't get enough of that. Like in everything, like maybe a tortilla chip, or I can't remember what else stirs around in the hot tub. But he just like, who eats in the hot tub and drops food in? Like it's almost like you don't even know it's an unwritten law until you see it, and you're like, I can't believe he's eating in the hot. You don't eat in the hot tub, but it's so funny that he's just like real casual, throwing around his sandwich, and things are flinging out of it. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah. The whole movie is hilarious.
It's not even an important part of the movie, but it just made me laugh so hard. It just really stuck with me.
Yeah, I met Rob 4 years. I met Rob 4 years ago in San Jose. He was doing stand-up at the Improv there, and I do stand-up. Yeah. And he was a great guy. Gave me some great advice that I kind of already knew, but hearing it from him because it was passed on down to him from Jay Leno, it was just wonderful.
He is so nice, and he really, he wrote me this, it was so funny, at the end of the movie, he sent me a letter. I think he sent everyone a letter, like as a thank you, and in my letter it said, Dina, thank you so much for, working on this film. You did such a great job, and also we really appreciate you using your own wardrobe. And my wardrobe in that movie, now, there were so many things about that character that I love so much, and I wish she was in it more because, oh my God, I love that character so much. She was blind, right?
Yeah.
So and it's so funny because I come from that whole acting thing where we workshop characters and we create characters from, deep back history stuff. And so I cut my bangs really short and uneven because she was blind. I thought that would be funny. And then her wardrobe was completely mismatched and just weird, not bad, but just like you would never put those patterns together because she was blind. She didn't know. And then there's a part where she's emptying the dishwasher and emptying the dishwasher and putting the plates back on the shelf in the background. And she's smashing the plates into the glass. And oh my God, those things make me laugh so hard. And they're not even, I know about them.
Yeah.
And the people that I know who I've told about it know about them, but they're not. Oh, and the final one is where they're trying to get the house back in order, putting the fish tank back together, putting the house back in order before the guy comes home. And she is in the background on a ladder hanging the blinds, and she's blind. So I thought that was the funniest thing, and yet it's lost. I mean, it's way in the background. It's not important. The movie's not about me, But I love that character, and I really wish that there were a lot more of her scenes that got cut out, and it makes me sad because some of them were super funny, but maybe they weren't. In my memory, they're super funny.
Yeah.
But maybe I know that one of them. This is something that bummed me out. The director of that movie, he and his girlfriend came up to me after we did this scene, and it was days after we did the scene. They go, that cereal scene that you do, and I go, uh-huh. And they said, oh my God, we watch that scene every single night. It is the funniest scene in the world. And so I thought, well, of course that scene's going to be in the movie because the director loves it and he thinks it's super funny. So of course it's going to be in the movie. So when I went to go see the movie and it wasn't in the movie, I was like, what? It's so, everyone has that experience of things getting cut.
Oh yeah.
And, it's a bummer, but it's, it's just part of the deal. It's like, you've got to make for a better movie. You got to. It's the bigger picture, yeah.
Yeah. Did Adam have something to do with you being in it?
I don't know. Maybe, it's weird. This is so weird about Deuce Bigalow getting in that movie because I was with my friend and I said, you know what? I really need to get an agent. This is ridiculous, right? Mm-hmm. So I went on this thing. We decided this was before what is it called? Before reality TV, before blogs or anything, before any of that stuff. And she's like, I'm going to film you going into agencies and just basically going into agents' offices and trying to get an agent. I go, okay. So we thought it was really funny because, I would never do this on my own if she wasn't with me and it wasn't us thinking it was funny. I would never be like, excuse me. So we went into this guy's office and I don't exactly remember how it works, but he said something like, I can't represent you because I don't know who you are, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I know, but whatever. But I know that you represent Jack Black, and I represent Jack Black. And he said, well, if Jack Black calls me about you, I'll represent you or something like that. And I go, okay. So then we went into the car, and I called Jack, and I go, hi, okay, you don't have to do this, but if you want to, you don't have to, could you call this guy, and just say that he should represent me? And he's like, okay. And he did. And the guy called me. But I didn't get him as an agent. But it was such a funny, weird thing. So we did that. So there was that. And then I did something else. There was something weird. You know what? I probably shouldn't even start with this. It's a non-story because I don't really remember. But it had something okay. And then, yeah, so maybe, you know what, maybe it was Adam. Maybe it was Adam who said that. Yeah, I'm going to take all that other stuff back. You can edit that out.
It's okay.
But, yeah, I think maybe he probably did have something to do with it, because I think when I went in for the audition, they were like, we were trying to find you. So I think that's how it happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should probably know that. But I got all my things without agents, and that's also crazy. Because, you know, I mean, maybe a lot of people do that. I don't know. But
oh, yeah.
I know that, you know, agents are like, they used to be the end all, you know.
Oh, yeah. You got to do a lot of it yourself, too, you know. It's part of the game. But I remember seeing...
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the movie and going, hey, it's Miss Lippy. I haven't seen her in a while. I hope I see more of her, you know? I mean... Yeah. Did it just get to a point where it was just hard getting movie and TV roles?
Yeah, it really was. It was, I didn't have, I did have an agent. You know, when I did, I got the Billy Madison thing, and then the casting director of Billy Madison set me up with an agent, and then I got the agent after Billy Madison, and I said, you know, we should use this to get me out in the world, and she said, no one cares about Adam Sandler, and they didn't do anything. And this guy who came to the Actors Gang, and he would workshop, he's this actor, Josh Molina. He came and he was doing some kind of workshop for a play with us, and he said, hey, you know, I saw you in Billy Madison. What are you doing now? And I said, nothing. My agent doesn't seem to think that is important. And he's like, what? Oh, my God, you should talk to my agent. And this is what I said to him. Oh, thank you, but, you know, I'm loyal to my agent like an asshole, right? Like, I couldn't believe that I was, like, so loyal. Why? You know, like, so anyway, I guess in answer to your question, the business part of it is not my first love. You know, I really love the creating of characters, you know, all the stuff that actors like. And then that's why, you know, managers and agents and producers and all that stuff exists, because the actors, for the most part, don't really like to do the business aspect. Or maybe it's just me who doesn't like to do that. So when I did plays, I would get play after play after play, because when you do a play, people see you in a play, and then they hire you for another play. That's kind of like, so I was doing so many plays during the time, you know, after Billy Madison, that I wasn't around on film, but I was on stage a lot, and no one knew, because, you know, only LA people that saw that play knew. And I remember Tim came to one of the rehearsals or something, and he said, oh, my God, my boys love you from Billy Madison. I was like, oh, God, that's so nice to hear. And then, you know, it's just, it's weird. I mean, I'm so lucky to have that movie be so culty successful.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Do you know what? I don't know if you even care about this. I was just going to say, like, I got some random call a while ago. I don't know if you care about this, but I'll just tell you.
Go ahead.
If you will. I got this call or this email out of the blue a couple of years ago, and it was from this man who said, hey, the Akron Rubber Ducks from Ohio want you to come to their minor league game and throw out the first ball. And I was like, what? And they're like, well, the Rubber Ducks, you know, because Miss Lippy says, oh, it's a wonderful blue duck, you know, whatever. She has this whole duck thing. So they thought a Billy Madison night would be fun to have at that baseball game. And so it was so random and weird. And I was like, oh, it's just so odd. And they said, and we're going to have a bobblehead of you. And I go, I'll do it. I wanted a bobblehead of me. It's so stupid. But I just thought it would be so funny to have a bobblehead. So anyway, so metalhead faces. Yeah, it was so weird. But that's, I guess, the reason I said it is because, like, this movie has been so, it's been so great in that way. It's just, like, so nice to, it's just been really nice. And I love that people, just from doing so much stage work and having no one see it, or not a lot of people see it, the fact that people can see your work on screen is like, that is the best part about film and television. It's like, oh my God, it can go around the world and everyone can see it, as opposed to them coming to LA, going to the stage that you're performing on and watching the show at night. You know, it's like, yeah. I mean, even Broadway stars. There are Broadway stars that win Tonys and the mainstream doesn't even know who they are because they're not on television or on film, you know?
Yeah. That's wonderful, though. I mean, yeah, you have this cult legacy. And did you continue on with theater leading up to the pandemic?
Oh, let's see. No, I haven't done a show in a little while. So I wasn't affected by, like, theater being. No, I wasn't affected by that. I know that so many people. Oh, it's so sad that, you know, everything, like Broadway being shut down and all the places in LA shut down and every television show shut down, every film shut down. Oh my God. I just heard that, like, people having to make out with mannequins in order to do love scenes.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
No, but that would make sense, you know?
It's so sad. It's just like, you know, like you could do film right now if it's like everyone is in your pod, you know, in your, like, quarantine pod. So the director is say you're all safe and then you're on the set, but you can't be making out or even talking closely with anyone. And the whole thing. I mean, it's beyond. You know, I'm not saying it's sad because television shows can't be made. It's so sad, you know, on the grandest of levels. I mean, it is bizarre. It is surreal. It is so crazy. It's like, it's from another, it's like Twilight Zone. You cannot even believe that this is real. Like, every day I'm like this, oh yeah, we're still living in this. I always kind of think, like, when I wake up, I don't really literally think, oh, you know, was it a dream? But there's a sense of, like, oh yeah, this really is real. Like, every day I'm just like, I cannot believe that. Yeah, it's so it's so sci-fi. You know, it's so next, like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might as well be on Mars, you know, wearing our oxygen masks to survive, you know.
Yeah, and then I read all these things like, you know, SAG-AFTRA taking away the pensions and people just, you know, people being, you know, evicted from their homes. I mean, it is just scary. It's like world takeover, you know, like we're all being held hostage.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it's true. And I know that people are wanting to blame people for it, but the thing is, it's no matter what the choices being made are, no matter what choices are being made, like, everybody wears masks, nobody wears masks, everybody stay in, everybody go out. It doesn't matter. It's just, it's real. And you can't blame it on one thing. It's just, it's real. It's just, yeah. And there's such the unknown about it, because if you do experiment, I think, like, Iceland experimented with, or Sweden, I think, yeah, Sweden experimented with, you know what? We're not going to do masks, and we're not going to do any kind of, you know, protection thing. And we'll see what happens. And they had, I think, no one have it. And then when they went with no masks, I think people got it. So I think that even in their experiment, it didn't really work out for them that well. You know, I mean, I don't know enough about it. Oh, thank you. My husband just brought me flowers. How sweet is that?
Oh, that is sweet.
Yeah. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't. Yeah. It's such a, you know, you can be opinionated by aspects of it, but the thing is, it's such an unknown, the whole thing. Like, if you let everyone just do whatever they want, maybe some people will get it, some people won't. Maybe everyone will get it and everyone will die. Maybe no one will get it, no one will die. But in general, you just, yeah, I don't know. Even the scientists are like, well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, I don't know. It's not all cut and dry.
It is. But all we can do is hope that everything will get back to the way it was before, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think it will. I mean, I have... What? Say.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I think, for some weird reason, and who knows, I feel like when people were saying, like, in March, this is going to go on till 2022, I was like, no, it's not. Okay, so then people were like, this is going to go on till 2021. I was like, yeah, okay, I can see that. But people were saying, life will never be the same again. And I feel like it will, because, like, think about destruction in, like, natural disasters. Like, oh my God, nothing will be the same again. And then as 25 years go by, things are kind of the same again in some cases. I mean, I'm not saying that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had examples, like I know Australia now, like, totally burned out, all flora fauna gone, right? It just totally just there, burned down to the ground. And my friend that lives there said, you know what, it'll never be the same. And I could say, yeah, you're right, it won't be the same, but maybe after 1,000 years, it might, I don't know. I mean, or maybe, who knows? We just don't know about the world. We don't know about the universe. We don't know about the earth. We don't know what's happening. We don't know anything. All we can do is just kind of be, like, nice to each other and kind to each other and respectful to each other, and just try to have fun and make the most out of life and try to be good people. I mean, I think that's the only thing you can do.
I think that is the only thing you can do. Absolutely. So how do you know Jane Morris?
Jane and I did a play. We didn't really do the play, but we did a workshop of a play. It was a little while ago, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was some, one of my friends, he was in Cirque du Soleil, and he and his Cirque du Soleil, like, collaborator, the two of them created this thing where we were going to do a show about, God, I can't even remember exactly what it was about, but I do know that when we would go to the rehearsals, there were, I was kind of in between the two worlds. Like, I was in between the circus world, because I'm kind of into dance and movement, but then I also was in between the circus and then the actor world, because I'm also an actor. And so I couldn't do the things that the circus people could do. Like, they were just doing the trampoline flips and then landing on a moving on a balcony, and then they go down, they do triple flips, and they go back on the balcony. I was like, no, I could jump on the trampoline, but I can't do that stuff, because I'm not a circus performer. And so I ended up, going down with the actors and doing the actor part of it. So Jane and I were in that together with probably like 10 other people, and she's super dry and super funny.
Oh God, when I was about to interview her, I did not know what to expect, and she.
Well, what did you think? I mean, what was your impression of her?
Oh, she is the queen of wisecracking. I love her. She is hilarious. Her colorful use of four-letter words, her brutal honesty, and she all does it with such a free-spirited kindness that I loved her.
Yeah, she's great. She really is. She did make me laugh a lot. Yeah.
She is. She's hilarious. I did not expect that at all from her, But I'm so glad that she could connect you and I. And before we wrap this up, I wanted to engage you in my secret silly game.
Oh, okay.
And how this works is this is a series of slumber party questions. I ask you the question, you answer it, and then you ask me the exact same question and I answer it.
Okay.
Okay. Dina, are you ticklish?
Oh, my God. Should I get my husband on the line to tell you how ticklish? I am out of control ticklish to the point of, like, ridiculous. How about you?
Oh, yeah. I am baby ticklish. I've been known to hit some people in the groin because I get a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, of course. Oh, you mean yours was not intentional? It was knee-jerk? Yeah, I do it on purpose to make people stop. I cannot handle it. I become like kind of, not an animal, but I become like a vicious, fighting, like survivor. Like, yeah! Like I get crazy. Like, get away. I will kill people. That's how ticklish I am.
That's awesome. Here's a question that I've been wanting to ask Miss Lippy my entire life. Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
What happens if I say Miss Lippy doesn't have a belly button? Ooh, Star Trek. No, mine's an innie.
Nice. I have an innie too. It's very deep.
Oh. What's that mean?
It means like my finger can go all the way in.
The whole finger or just like to the knuckle?
At least until the knuckle, yes.
Oh my God. Wow.
What color are your toenails painted?
Red. I wish I knew the exact, nail color name, like Scarlet Fever or something like that. But just for you right now, red. How about yours?
Right now they are au naturel. Last time they were purple with sparkles.
Oh.
I like to go.
You didn't dress your nails up for me? Lippy?
I haven't done them.
Paste on your nails?
I haven't done them since September, and no, I would never put paste on them. I had press-on nails on my toenails like 10 years ago, and they just fucked up my nails so bad they look so gross now.
Are you kidding? You mean did you put the fingernails on your toenails, or did you put the... Wait, you're saying on your toenails, right?
The press-on toenails, yeah.
Oh, they have press-on toenails?
Oh, they did for a long time, for many years. I don't think they have them anymore, but they did.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's kind of funny. Like, I mean, it kind of makes sense because then God, that's a weird product, because the baby toe is so much smaller, I mean, how do you even control, like, quality control that? Because, well, whatever. Okay, go on.
Yeah, it was not fun with the glue and everything. And then my favorite question, is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
Blue cheese.
Oh yeah. Ugh. That's bad.
I'm not a fan of any of those stinky cheeses or of I don't like sour cream. It just mainly blue cheese is just, it repulses me. How about you? What's yours?
Either farts or feet.
Oh, the classics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, yes. Whenever I tell someone with kids that, it never affects them.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Because they're used to it, yeah. Well, Dina, I'm glad that we got this done today, and we went a little bit over, but we had a great conversation in the process.
Yeah, and you could cut out a bunch of it.
No, you were great.
Cut it out.
I
won't be offended. It won't be like a movie where I'm like, oh no, he cut out the best part.
No, you were great. You were very insightful.
Thank you. All right, thank you for your kindness, and it was really nice.
Yes, and you stay safe because we need you, and have
thank you.
And have a wonderful day.
Okay. Enjoy your Reading heat.